Good morning, it is Sunday today. I am in the middle of getting ready and also packing as I am leaving for Deftones in a couple of hours. Very unusually the second time this month that I have left the boys on a Sunday. The Sunday I really consider a family day for us. Pretty much always together, and it's normally a day of food and hanging out, especially in the garden this time of year. So it is strange to be leaving them again, but I think this date got announced in November and I knew I just would have to go. And slightly last minute for me, I've booked to stay in London for the night. I just really didn't want to miss any of the songs and rush back. There's just been so many train problems recently. I just thought I don't want that hanging over my head, that I need to leave. Also checked some set lists from the last few shows, and the encores have been songs that I absolutely would not want to miss. Monday morning is Anton's school run, so this has worked out very well for me. So EJ and I are going to meet up for a bite to eat first and then head over to the show. We'll just play it by ear in terms of who we managed to see. Personally, I'm only interested in Health and Deftones. I think she's interested in Weezer. Oh, I've put it on the wrong way around. I think they're playing at sort of 6, it's only a couple of hours before Deftones. I have such a sensitive neck and it gets very annoyed with necklaces going on and off. It was just so warm last night that I ended up taking this one off. Try again. There we go. Okay. It's hard to believe right now because it looks really quite miserable, but it's meant to be a very hot, sunny day. The last few mornings it has sort of taken a while for the sun to show its face. Even though this is only an overnight stay, I still write down a packing list because I'm just that kind of person. I love a list. I like making sure I don't forget anything. I like crossing things off and knowing it's done. Oh, I can cross that off. I'm gonna finish off packing now. Skincare pouch just lives inside this suitcase. It has lots of minis in, lots of favourites, and then this has extra toiletries like mouthwash and a mini body cream, things like that. Makeup. In here I've got a few extra makeup things, some body cream, razor. I think it goes without saying that I don't pack light. This is my outfit for tomorrow. Makeup brushes, phone charger, pyjamas, and I always like to have a baggy t-shirt with me. It's just one of those things I like to know I've got for being comfortable. Actually, I'm going to pop those up there. I'm at the train station and just about to pay for parking. Apparently faff about with this neck scarf. Definitely started warming up a bit more now today. So I need to park so I need to do a 2-day parking, not 24 hours. Because I'm going to a few places tomorrow morning before I come back home. No, not 2 hours, 2 days. Feel very out of whack being here on a Sunday. Done. I did pack my little portable fan today. Not very heavy. I did buy a not too cheap one with the hope that it wouldn't be too heavy and the battery would last. I've been very pleased with it. Anton still thinks it's hilarious that I carry it around, but sometimes my face in particular just feels really warm and I don't like that feeling. And also chest area, like a little breeze down there when you're a bit warm. That is a game changer. I do have a 20-minute wait for my train now. Because of the journey to this station being a complete country, middle of nowhere sort of drive, sometimes you get stuck behind a tractor or something is going on because someone went into the wrong passing place and it becomes a complete faff. And the journey takes double the amount of time that it actually should. I just allow a ridiculous amount of time for everything. That's the biggest downside really to living out here, is the getting to London. I literally wouldn't change it for the world, but sometimes it feels you are further away than you actually are because of things that go wrong. Monday, trying to get to the premiere was a very good example of that, when they just shut down the train line. Because of this ridiculous hat I decided to wear today, couldn't bring my headphones. I have the big over-the-ear AirPod Air Max, you know the ones. I love them, I absolutely love them. But the biggest downside with them is how huge they are, and they don't fit over a hat like this. However, I'm not far off finishing this book, and I thought actually that could be quite lovely, just having a little read on the train. And because I can leave it at the hotel with my luggage. Yeah, I'm blasting through this quite fast. I'm really enjoying it. It's quite a mundane book. It really is just focusing on relationships between people, how people get on, how they talk to each other. Some big momentous things happen in people's lives, but it really is just more about those relationships that people have and what they get from them. There's a lot of sensitivity and empathy in it. I might finish this, you know, on the train and on the platform now. There's no one here. I can't see one other human. I'll show you. Quietest train station on a Sunday. When I come here during the week, for reference, I normally get here around either 8 or 9, depending on my meetings, and it's hard to get a space. I do everything one-handed. I'm trying to make a tripod out of books, but it's not going very well. I need more books. I think that is about the best I can do. So I'm gonna have to sort of lean in a bit, which is slightly odd. It is Monday today. I stayed overnight in London last night after Deftones. I am very glad I made that decision. It just made everything so much more relaxed, and it meant that I didn't have to rush off straight after the last song. Deftones were amazing. I just had such a fun time hanging out, spending time with EJ and Cara, who got us the tickets, and her sister. Cara works in management and was able to sort us out passes. I actually met her in Vegas last year at Sick New World. She came up to me and said she'd been following me for years, and if I ever needed tickets to a show, to let her know. I'm not gonna lie, I've had offers like that before, and I don't know, I've always bought tickets. I never am really one for going on lists, but apparently that's changing now. She was so sincere about it, and after trying to get Slipknot tickets last year and absolutely failing, I thought I'd message her, and she was a legend and got Jess and I into the December 21st show. Honestly, one of my most favourite shows I have ever been to. That set list and seeing Slipknot in red boiler suits, just immense. And a very long story that I won't go into, but I know Fred, who is the bassist for Deftones. I think we've talked for around 11 years online. If you've been following me for a very, very long time, you'll know that I had a very small clothing brand with a friend of mine before I was doing content creation. It was when Casey was a baby, and my friend Richard and I started a very small heavy metal t-shirt patch inspired company together. It was really fun. Pretty much did it because I had the time to and capacity. I'd given up my job in London. I was finding being a full-time mum not exactly the most fulfilling, being very, very honest. And Richard's a graphic designer and asked how I'd feel about trying something like that, and we did. I was listening to a podcast that Fred was doing, and we followed each other on Instagram, and then when I started Hello, he really liked the t-shirts, so I sent him a couple, and yeah, I've just been back and forth talking online for the last 11 years or so. It's kind of wild that now he's in Deftones and got to finally meet yesterday. A lot of bad can be said about the internet, which I completely understand and deal with a lot. However, there's a lot of good, and making those connections that you would just never be able to make otherwise is just amazing. I want to go to Liberty to check out the new Foundry concession there, because they've really expanded and they've got basically their own kind of shop within Liberty. Does that make it not concession or concession? Whatever. They've expanded. It's amazing. Foundry are a jewellery brand I absolutely love. I bought the bookend rings around 7 years ago. I have 2 of this one, but then this year I got this slightly chunkier one with the diamond on the head. The battery situation doesn't look amazing, and I don't know how much I'll be able to vlog, but let's see. My boots are squeaking so much. Brush out these curls a little. I can't recall if I showed this or not, but this is my room at the Broadwick. Cannot stress how quiet it is in here, considering you are in the heart of Soho. A step out of here and it's a 5-minute walk to Liberty. Little kettle, espresso machine along here, bar area. And then this is the bathroom with the immense blue leopard wallpaper. There's so much attention to detail here with the fixtures, and it's just a very, very boutique, quiet hotel, and I really, really enjoy that about it. I'm also really enjoying this green mirror. Okay, I really need to go now. Finally found the charger that I needed. Bane of my life, trying to understand chargers. I feel like the boys are just in charge of chargers around this house. I haven't done any eye makeup today. Days when I want to be ready but not completely ready, that's the one thing I just leave off. It's been a bit of a different morning to normal. Anton and I went up to the school with Casey this morning. He had his last ever assembly of year 6. I often don't make it to these kind of things at his school, but it was so important to me to make this one. He's moving into senior school, and it was really cute. He remembered all of his lines. He was a bit worried this morning. Actually, not so much this morning. Yesterday we were practicing them, and he kept not remembering them, and we came up with some ideas of helping him remember, and he spoke quite confidently, looked at the floor quite a lot, but He's 11. Breaks up for summer in 2 days. I've got a full day out on Friday for work and I won't be there to pick him up for the summer break. And that is the first time that's ever happened. I do have proper parent guilt about it, actually. I think I care more though than he does. I spoke to him about it, the fact that I wouldn't be there. Anton will be there. And I'm always the one that's there. I think last year Anton couldn't make it. Yeah, Anton couldn't make it, I think, for picking him up for the start of summer last year. But I'm always there, you know. Like I said, I think I care more than he does. And we've got a very exciting weekend ahead, so it's okay. I'll focus on that. Casey, more than ever, really does understand that my work is not that predictable and linear. I mean, it is a Friday, so that is a normal sort of working day. But even last weekend, I ended up working quite a big chunk of Saturday, and then on Sunday morning I had quite a bit of work to do before I then left the house for Deftones. And even when I'm at things like that, I'm still sort of on because I'm trying to vlog and film and also trying to post. I posted from the festival at 4 p.m. and normally I stay on my phone after I've posted and reply to comments, or at least I dip in and out. But especially on TikTok, I tend to sort of dip in and out. So I'll post, I might close the app and then I'll come back to it and start replying to comments depending on my schedule. It's always a bit tricky because I never post until a bit later in the day. My audience is so heavily in the US. I like to wait for them to be awake before I start posting. Even though I know that posts don't always get shown immediately, that's just... I've tried it other ways and this way is the way. It was so ridiculously hot here yesterday. At around 3 o'clock I thought I had a shower to cool down and the water pressure was very low. Very, very low, to the point where I couldn't shower. And I was a bit concerned because this happens sort of once every 6 months around here. We just lose water for hours. And I got back from the school run, so I couldn't shower. I got back from the school run to find there was no water at all. And then I spent the next hour in a loop on WhatsApp trying to talk to Thames Water about it. And eventually it was agreed that someone would come out to check, because at first they kept saying this is your issue. And I knew categorically, no, this is not our issue. This has happened so many times before with exactly the same thing. And I think I was also quite warm. I was very, very warm. It's the first day I think I've been really, really, really affected by the heat, actually. And I just wanted a shower so bad. They finally agreed to have an engineer come out within 4 hours. At 7 p.m. they agreed this after I'd been trying, I think I must have been trying for 2 hours actually, not an hour, to try and get someone out. Because at first they were giving me 24 hours as the timeline, and I just said that's seemingly quite long. I was very polite, but that's very long considering the heat. So they said that they'd get someone out by 11 p.m. and I crashed at 9. I fell asleep. I came up to bed to read. I was in a very, very non-chatty mood. I was really honest with Anton about it. And I just said, I just can't hang out tonight. It wasn't like me at all, but I just wanted to be on my own and read. He went off and did music stuff, which he actually really enjoyed, so that was nice. We normally have our evenings very, very together. I remember hearing Anton and I thought it must have been around midnight having a shower, so I knew I'd be able to wake up and shower. And the water is back. No one came out, they just fixed it, so it's fine. I'm glad I spent 2 hours trying to get someone to come out. I really need to get some editing done. I was going to film today, but I'm actually really not feeling it, and I've learned that don't try and do that on a day when you're just really not feeling it. Or I've got a full day of filming, I've got a lot to do. I really do need to make a reel. Instagram's just very uninspiring at the moment when it comes to reels, where they've just crushed everything. I'm not as incentivized, shall we say. I do kind of miss making them because they're sort of my bread and butter, you know, not talking, and just showing an outfit is still one of my favorite things. So tomorrow I must do that. I'm telling myself now as a reminder for future Sammy. Welcome to my dressing room that I'm very aware I need to film some sort of tour of at some point. I do want to get it a bit more finished. Life is just being life. So I've just been doing some editing, and then I've come in here to sort out my outfit for Friday. So tomorrow, because of my early pickup on Friday, which is 7 a.m, I know ahead of that I have some filming I have to do tomorrow and then some I have to do on Friday, and then combine it to create the content that I need to make. I hope this makes sense. I want to wear something quite comfortable, so I'm going to go with this little mini skirt, but I will wear some boxers underneath, so hopefully to create a double waistband effect that I love. And then this little R13 distressed tank top, my new Miu Miu jacket that hasn't had a outing yet because it's just been absolutely boiling. These are the boxers that I will double waistband with. I think that will work. I do need to actually try this on. And then also I think I will do a baseball cap. I am going to be with the Aston Martin team and LMS. Well, I'm with LMS, and then there will be, I think it's a VIP pit lane experience with Aston Martin. Honestly, I can't believe this is happening and I get to do this for my work. It's actually unreal. I grew up on F1 Sundays at my house. It was the Grand Prix and a barbecue, and that is categorically what I remember. So to be doing this now is just insane, and it's the only sport that I am that invested in. So I'm just thrilled. So LMS have sponsored the Aston Martin car for this season. Most likely I'll be doing a pair of boots because they're just the comfiest things. I feel the best in. I can walk 20,000 steps if I need to. What I will do though is give them a bit of a clean, brush up and put some leather polish on them. So now I need to start editing this vlog, and I will see you next week.